Cleopatra ruled the wealthiest kingdom on earth and could afford literally anything she desired, yet the most powerful luxury she possessed cost her nothing. And it's the one thing that terrified Rome's greatest generals. Welcome to History Snapshots. This is the story of what a single day looked like for the richest woman in the ancient world, and what it reveals about power that still matters today. The year is 41 BC. Cleopatra 7. Cleopatra controls Egypt, a kingdom so wealthy that its annual grain harvest alone could feed the entire Roman Empire for months. Her personal treasury dwarfs that of any Roman senator. The palace at Alexandria holds more gold than most nations will see in a century. Yet when she wakes before dawn in her private chambers, surrounded by servants who have been preparing for hours, the first thing she reaches for isn't jewelry or gold. It's a scroll. Written in Greek, one of 9 languages she speaks fluently. Because Cleopatra understood something her rivals didn't. Wealth without intellect is just decoration. And in the game she was playing, manipulating the most powerful men in the Mediterranean, knowledge was the only currency that truly mattered. Her morning routine begins at dawn and requires a staff of 30. First, the bath. Not the donkey milk bath of legend that's reserved for special occasions and requires maintaining a herd of over 100 donkeys. Today, it's perfumed water infused with oils imported from Arabia and India, each drop worth more than a common laborer's monthly wage. While she bathes, her advisors brief her on overnight dispatches from Rome, reports from grain administrators in Upper Egypt, intelligence from her spy network that extends from Parthia to Hispania. She's listening to 3 conversations simultaneously, responding in Greek to one servant, Demotic Egyptian to another, and Latin to a Roman envoy who's been waiting since midnight. The cosmetics come next, and this is where wealth becomes visible. Ground malachite for her eyelids, sourced from mines in Sinai, crushed pearls mixed into face cream, red ochre from Cyprus for her lips. Her cosmetician, a Greek woman trained in the art for 20 years, works with the precision of a sculptor. But Cleopatra isn't being made beautiful. She's being made into a symbol, every detail calibrated for the meeting ahead. By mid-morning, she's in the throne room, and this is where you see the machinery of her influence. A delegation of Roman merchants wants tax relief. They expect to negotiate with bureaucrats. Instead, they get Cleopatra herself, speaking flawless Latin, quoting their own laws back to them, referencing a Senate debate from 3 months ago that most Romans haven't heard about. She grants them half of what they ask for, phrased as a generous concession. They leave thinking they've won. She's just secured their loyalty and collected intelligence on grain prices in Ostia. This is the pattern that made her dangerous. She didn't just rule Egypt, she understood Rome better than Romans did. After the merchants, there's a temple ceremony. She appears dressed as Isis, the goddess she's publicly identified herself with. The Egyptian priests see their divine ruler. The Greek citizens see Hellenistic royalty. The Roman observers see exotic foreign spectacle. Everyone sees what they need to see. It's the same woman, 3 different performances, executed simultaneously. You can buy gold, but you can't buy this kind of strategic empathy, the ability to enter someone else's framework and make them believe you belong there. Lunch is a working meal with her financial advisors. Egypt's wealth isn't accidental, it's administered. The Nile's flood is measured daily. Grain stores are audited weekly. Tax collection is ruthlessly efficient. Cleopatra reviews the numbers herself, catching a discrepancy in wheat shipments from the Fayum that her treasurer missed. She's not just a figurehead. She's running what amounts to the ancient world's most sophisticated bureaucratic state. The afternoon brings military briefings. Her navy controls the eastern Mediterranean. Her army, though smaller than Rome's, is well-equipped and loyal. She's reviewing troop deployments in Cyprus when a courier arrives from Mark Antony. He's requesting ships, supplies, and money for his Parthian campaign. This is the request she's been waiting for. Because Antony needs her more than she needs him, and she's about to make sure he knows it. The reply she dictates is a masterpiece of strategic ambiguity, generous enough to seem cooperative, vague enough to require further negotiation, which means another meeting, which means another opportunity to shape his decisions. How do you control a Roman general who commands 20 legions? You make yourself indispensable, then make him ask twice. Evening means a banquet, and Cleopatra's banquets are legendary for a reason. Tonight's guests include Greek philosophers, Roman officers, Egyptian priests, and a Persian merchant prince. The menu features delicacies from 3 continents: oysters from Britannia, dates from Babylon, wine from Chios aged for decades. The cost of a single dinner could fund a military campaign, but the real expense isn't the food. It's the conversation. Cleopatra moves between groups, switching languages, debating Platonic philosophy with the Greeks, discussing military tactics with the Romans, making the Persian feel like the guest of honor. Every interaction is calculated. The Roman officers will report back that she's civilized, cultured, reasonable. The Egyptian priests see her honoring their traditions. The Greeks see one of their own. She's building a coalition without anyone realizing they're being recruited. And then, the famous gesture. She removes one of her pearl earrings, worth, according to Pliny, 10 million sesterces, dissolves it in vinegar, and drinks it. A party trick? No, a message. This is what I can afford to waste. Imagine what I can afford to deploy. The Romans at the table go quiet. They've just watched her consume more wealth than their annual salary. The point has been made. Late at night, alone in her private library, the smaller one attached to her chambers, not the great library, Cleopatra reads histories, philosophy, poetry, military treatises. She's preparing for tomorrow's negotiations, next month's festival, next year's political landscape. Because this is what her rivals never understood. The wealth was just infrastructure. The beauty was just packaging. What made Cleopatra the most powerful woman in the ancient world wasn't what she owned. It was what she knew and how she deployed it. 9 years later, when Octavian's forces close in and her political options collapse, she'll choose death over capture. Not because she's romantic or tragic, but because she understands the math. A living captive is a propaganda tool. A dead queen is a legend. Even her final act is strategic. Here's what her story reveals. Influence isn't about having the most resources. It's about understanding the game better than anyone else at the table. Cleopatra had infinite wealth, but what she weaponized was infinite preparation. She entered every room knowing more about her opponent than they knew about themselves. In your own negotiations, your own career, your own conflicts, the person who wins isn't the one with the biggest budget, it's the one who did the homework. Cleopatra's real luxury wasn't gold, it was being the only person in the room who'd read the entire script.